two very big mistakes Filipina women make in dating, and these are becoming my pet peeves. And I probably shouldn't make this video, but I will try to explain it as respectfully as possible. Please don't take offense. Mistake number one, this is a small one, but the very first thing a Filipina will ask you, like let's say you're messaging her and you get a video call, very first question, what are you doing in Philippines? And the reason why that's a mistake, do I not have a right to just be here and exist? Do I need an excuse? Like, what answer are you looking for? Imagine I go up to someone like that's at a mall and I say, hey, what are you doing here? You should be somewhere else. Like, you should be doing, so the framing of that question, it's like, wait, what? Like, why would you ask that? Why wouldn't you ask me about my day, what my passions, things are? Like, why do you say, what are you doing here? And let's say that there is a particular reason. Okay, here's a twisted thing. Let's say there's a particular reason why she asked that. Let's say she's concerned whether I'm a long-term thing or I'm just like here like for like a couple of days. Well, I could just easily lie about that. So it doesn't accomplish anything, right? So it's like, it's a very counterintuitive question. It's, hey, what are you doing here? It comes off as a little bit rude. I do understand that some may be asking that just to get a gauge of the time horizon that you're here. But for cases like me where, hey, I don't have to work, I'm retired, I'm basically nomadic, I could just leave the country and go wherever I want. I don't have the constraints of normal life. And me explaining this, it's like a 10-minute process, and they'll continue to dig like, oh, wow, how did you retire? Are you a crypto guy? Oh, wow, are you a trust fund baby? It's like, I want to avoid that. Just treat me as a human being as I am right now, right? So that's the first mistake, and it's a small one. Number two, this is a big one that continues to shock me. Within 2 minutes, they ask you, have you dated a Filipina? Do you have a girlfriend? Why did you break up? And the reason this is a mistake, it's not the fact that this is raw for me, right? I just recently broke up. No, that's not it. Even if it was 10 years, let's say they ask me, hey, why did you break up with your ex 10 years ago? Imagine asking that question within 2 minutes on a video call, in a message, okay? I want you to imagine this. And as someone who likes to honestly answer questions, for me to give that a fair, nuanced answer, it will take me at least 1 hour to explain our relationship, our faults, like the love, etc. It'll take 1 hour, okay? Just on the time alone, it takes an hour. Not to mention that I have to dig that up. It's just high mental effort. So it's an hour of high-mindedness, which I don't have much time in the day, okay? Okay, so that's the first part, okay? Now imagine you get asked this 10 times a day. So if I were to answer each one of these questions each time, that's like 10 hours of my day just exhausted. I'm just emotionally exhausted, I'm mentally exhausted, and all my time is gone. And the biggest kicker is you're asking this 2 minutes into a conversation. And from my point of view and my experience, these are people that maybe 1 out of 100 of these messages, I'll end up meeting the girl, right? Early on, I made the mistake of actually spending the time to just explain to them. And they're like, oh, that's nice. And then they just disappear. No, I didn't scare them off. It's just that they were just really bored. And my story was the most entertaining thing. And so they just continued to dig selfishly, right? They had no intention of being anything but a chat buddy. But they dug for like an hour, 2 hours, and then just boom, disappeared. They moved on to the next shiny thing. And at the same time, if I were to say, I don't want to talk about it, let's meet up in person first, or I try to explain, like, hey, this in American culture, it's considered a very sensitive topic. You don't usually talk about it. It's a faux pas. It's a faux pas, a red flag, etc. And I'll be happy to explain it if we meet up. Their response is like, why? This is so weird that you won't tell me. You won't tell me why. What are you trying to... So it's like, I don't know. So my policy now, if within the first 2 messages you're asking me about, hey, what happened to your ex? Why did you break up? Or how much money do you make? Are you trustful? I just block. Because this person is not, just from the sheer numbers alone, it doesn't turn out well. It just does not. It's just block. And I don't know how to handle the in between where I just get sucked in because I think I'm making a genuine connection with a human being. But just off of the pure statistics, it's like, yeah, it's just, they're just looking for entertainment and they don't respect my ask of like, hey, don't ask about these things until you get to know me and we've met up in person. And again, in American culture, it is considered incredibly disrespectful, incredibly rude, incredibly like personally invasive to like ask these type of questions. How much money do you make? Where do you make your money from? What happened to your exes? What are your red flags? Like, no, that's not what you're supposed to ask within the first 2 minutes. What you're supposed to ask is, let's say you see a cool video of mine and you just ask me questions about it. Like ask about the inspiration behind it, my creative process, what I want to do, if I have any, what my favorite countries were. Just treat me as a human being right here. I don't care about my history, don't dig into it. Just think about here and the future, right? Just treat me as a human being that's just standing in front of you, right?